Good afternoon, everyone. To the Chief Secretary, to the Office of the President and Cabinet, Dr. Martin Mushwaya, the UN in Zimbabwe Resident and Humanitarian Coordinator, His Excellency Mr. Edward Kalon, the United Nations Development Program Resident Representative in Zimbabwe, hereby represented by his Deputy, Ms. Karine Yenga Yenge. Did I get that right? Fantastic. Heads of UN agencies present, the country lead for voluntary services overseas, Ms. Tekla Ponde, Director for Restless Development, Mr. Sarai Muronzi, the Director of the National Youth Services, Director Dube, and all other government officials here present, as well as you, the volunteers. I have a confession to make. Madam President Representative, whoever wrote your speech also wrote my speech. So forgive me if, but it is an honor to be here to present over this day where we are commemorating volunteers all over the world and recognizing you. As mentioned before, volunteerism is usually focused on the youth because of the number of the youth, and there's a number of benefits that you can get from volunteering, and there's a number of benefits that the community and the country, as well as non-governmental organizations, can get from volunteers like you. So please know that you are appreciated in the work that you do. I think in this day and age that we live in, there's the largest generation of young people ever. Here in Zimbabwe, 62% of our population is made up of young men and women. And it is, in fact, our greatest economic dividend. As a ministry, we are grateful and proud of the fact that our President, His Excellency Dr. Edi Mnangagwa, has tapped into this. And thus, our ministry, the Ministry of Youth Empowerment, Development and Vocational Training, is a standalone ministry. As you know, before it was attached to a various number of other ministries. But now it's standalone. And our role is simple. We need to make use, we need to develop, we need to uplift and use this vital demographic to drive social and economic change, positive social and economic change. The very people we want to develop are the very people who will bring about that development. Therefore, Nika ino wakwa niwe. It's as simple as that. So we are also quite privileged that in this day and age there's a lot of technology and social media. So this has made this generation much more better connected and awakened a power within young people. And we need to use that power and that potential to build our Zimbabwe. So as government and as developmental partners, we are tasked with tackling challenges that affect young people and our communities. We all know these challenges: social exclusion, poverty, more recently drug and alcohol, substance abuse, and as well as other issues that have plagued young people, which make it difficult for them to exercise their full potential. And volunteerism is a powerful way to deal with these issues that I've mentioned. And they can convert people who didn't know that they can be empowered by volunteerism. Bystanders, they can become actual tools to development for a country by building networks and platforms and engaging with people like you. So we are very happy to be here as a ministry and to be with volunteers. We are also here to promote volunteerism at a local level. I think it's something so important. I heard the testimonies that people were giving here. The only thing is, in India, I'm a politician from Mount Darwin. I don't know any of these programs in Mount Darwin, the volunteers that came. Yes. Where are you? Shinga is not Mount Darwin, but okay, close enough. So at least in the coming years, we'll see you come to Mount Darwin. You're more than welcome there. And there are a lot of young people who would like to learn from you and also learn how they can contribute to their communities. In order for volunteerism in youth to bring about the greatest benefit to society, and the volunteers themselves, we as government, as a ministry, as we were discussing prior to coming into this room, we want to foster relations between ourselves, volunteer involving organizations, private sector, and civil society. At the moment, the government is pulling one way, our civil society is pulling another way, and that lack of cohesion makes it difficult for us to measure exactly the impact that we're doing. It makes it difficult to really assess, and it also makes it difficult for people to acknowledge the work that you're doing. Because here, if you were listening, or I'm sure you were listening, there's a lot of work that she's been doing out there. During the campaigns, I used to say to my campaign team, and it was something that I was taught when I was doing ethics and philosophy a long time ago. They used to say, if a tree falls in the forest and no one is there to see it fall, does it make a sound? Does it? It does. How do you know? You went there. What we're trying to say is that when we work together, when we collaborate, it means that everybody knows what you're doing in Mashonaland Central, in Mashonaland East, Manicaland. The recognition that we need to give you as a government, that we need to give you as a nation for the work you're doing. First of all, we have to know that that's what you're doing, so that we can recognize the work that you're doing. So it's important that as an entity of government, as a ministry, that we come together with the UN and other volunteer organizations, so that we know that we have volunteers over there. Then we can measure. Then we can call a whole bunch of people, more than the people in this room, so that they can stand up and recognize the work that you are doing. So I don't think the tree makes a sound if you're not there. And also there are other volunteer programs that we're doing as a country. Anyway, I've started to take them a bit more seriously, such as the National Tree Planting Day on the 1st of December. Hands up, anyone who planted a tree on the 1st of December. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's half a hand, 7. Okay. Yeah, 7 out of the people in this room. Also, National Cleanup Campaign. Hands up people who participate in that. That's better. Because when we're cleaning up in the National Cleanup Campaign, we're cleaning our own streets. We're cleaning our own communities. Some people like to think, no, I shouldn't government. But these are our streets. These are our communities. So participating in these things can only bring benefit to ourselves. As mentioned before, we have worked together with the UN to bring about a national volunteerism strategy, and we are actively pushing. We're doing the fine-tuning so that it can be adopted by cabinet, so that we can actually push it as parliamentarians within parliament to get proper framework for volunteers and improve the work that the conditions that you work in, and to improve the impact that you can bring about. It is our hope that a volunteer strategy will also support other initiatives that are coming out of our ministry. We're in the process of relaunching a national youth service, a rebranded national youth service, and we want it to be launched with a volunteer element attached to it, so that as young people go through national youth service, they get a chance to also volunteer and give back to their communities. And we believe that this will go a long way in fostering a collective sense of social responsibility, and will also build awareness and respect for the role of volunteers and the role that they play. And it can promote leadership amongst these volunteers. We are also gathered here today to deliberate, to talk about a very important subject matter. I would like to thank my colleague from the Ministry of Public Service for his presentation. As a country, our position in attaining the SDGs and how we have aligned ourselves as a country to attainment of those SDGs, which tells you how important it is for our leadership that we move in that way. That's why Vision 2030 is in line with Agenda 2030. And I hope with that we can all play a part in making sure that we can achieve those goals. By its very nature, volunteering is a vehicle for sustainable development anyway, and it allows people in communities to participate in their own growth as individuals and that of the community. And in that regard, the 2030 agenda recognizes the need for all society to be involved in the end of poverty within a generation. It is impossible to attain the SDGs without a wide range of people who are engaged at all stages, at all levels, and at all times. And we appreciate what volunteers can bring to the table. For Zimbabwe, the future of volunteering is limitless. We want to make sure that we assist our developmental partners and they assist us to make sure that we promote volunteering amongst our young people, and make sure that it is an avenue where they can go down and bring about meaningful contribution to development in this country. So I challenge my colleagues in the developmental partner organizations to accept our offer to work closely with government. Our goal is the same. Our target demographics that we're working with are the same. So let's work together to achieve our common objective. Government offices they are not dungeons or no-go areas. Our offices are not sacred ground. You don't need a rite of passage. We are there all the time. And we are available not just to you, also the people in this room. I'm happy that there are a lot of young people in this room. You can find us at Mkwati Building, 17th floor, 20th floor. If these cameras were not on me, I would also announce my phone number, but you can find me later. It's not a secret. It doesn't matter what stage of development you are, whether you want to do entrepreneurship, whether you just feel like you want to contribute to your country, we are there and we're available to you. So I just want to reiterate that it is an honor to be here and to recognize you all. And I want to thank you for the time you have devoted and the impact you have made in your communities. And I hope that going forward, we as government can do better in terms of recognizing you and promoting the work that you do. And on that note, I would just like to thank you again, and thank the UN and its partner organizations for organizing this event. Thank you.